Their ruin was from their own proper motion. They would not abide as God had made them, but they sought out inventions to deform and undo themselves. 3. Observe here the certainty and importance of these things. Lo, this only have I found, etc. Believe them, they are the result of a narrow search and a serious inquiry, performed by the wisest of men. In the two preceding verses, Solomon represents himself as in quest of goodness in the world, but the issue of it was, he could find no satisfying end of his search after it, though it was not for lack of pains, for he counted one by one to find out the account. Behold, this have I found, says the preacher, namely, that, as the same word is read in our text, yet my soul seeks, but I find not. He could make no satisfying discovery of it, which might end his inquiry. He found the good very rare, one as it were among 1,000. But could that satisfy the grand query, where shall wisdom be found? No, it could not, and if the experience of others in this point run counter to Solomon's, as it is no reflection on his discernment, it can as little decide the question, which will remain undetermined until the last day. But amidst all this uncertainty there is one point found out and fixed. This have I found. You may depend upon it as a most certain truth, and be fully satisfied in it. Lo this, fix your eyes upon it, as a matter worthy of most deep and serious regard, namely, that man's nature is now depraved, but that depravity was not from God, for he made man upright, but from themselves. They have sought out many inventions. Doctrine. God made man altogether righteous. This is that state of innocence in which God placed man in the world. It is described in the Holy Scripture with a running pen, in comparison of the following states. For it was of no continuance, but passed away as a flying shadow, by man's abusing the freedom of his will. I shall, 1. Inquire into the righteousness of this state wherein man was created. 2. Lay before you some of the happy attendants and consequences thereof. 3. Applying the whole. 1. Of man's original righteousness. As to the righteousness of this state, consider that as uncreated righteousness, the righteousness of God is the supreme rule. So all created righteousness, whether of men or angels, has respect to a law as its rule, and is a conformity thereto. A creature can no more be morally independent of God in its actions and powers than it can be naturally independent of him. A creature, as a creature, must acknowledge the Creator's will as its supreme law, for as it cannot exist without him, so it must not be but for him, and according to his will. Yet no law obliges until it is revealed. And hence it follows that there was a law which man, as a rational creature, was subjected to in his creation, and that this law was revealed to him. God made man upright, says the text. This supposes a law to which he was conformed in his creation, as when anything is made regular or according to rule, of necessity the rule itself is presupposed. Whence we may gather that this law was no other than the eternal, indispensable law of righteousness, observed in all points by the second Adam, opposed by the carnal mind, and some notions of which remain yet among the pagans, who, having not the law, are a law unto themselves. Romans 2:14. In a word, this law is the very same which was afterwards summed up in the 10 Commandments, and promulgated on Mount Sinai to the Israelites, called by us the moral law, and man's righteousness consisted in conformity to this law or rule. More particularly, there is a twofold conformity required of a man, a conformity of the powers of his soul to the law, which you may call habitual righteousness, and a conformity of all his actions to it, which is actual righteousness. Now, God made man habitually righteous. Man was to make himself actually righteous. The former was the stock which God put into his hand. The latter was the improvement he should have made.